Hi Jason, this is my response to your week 7 discussion question or discussion post. I thought that you answered the question really well. I thought that you brought up some really good points and really showed a strong knowledge of the subject matter. I thought it was interesting that you had mentioned that one of your problems with the author of The Peace Process, William Quandt, is that he really only does a cursory look at the different events going on in the world. I personally don't have a problem with that. I think that he does that Quandt does that for a reason, that he assumes that the readers already have a pretty good idea of history of what was going on in the world during the 60s and 70s, and that really isn't his focus, to look at different things that were going on. I mean, this is a very focused book. It has a very specific purpose, a specific focus, and that's on the Middle East. So that's not necessarily a problem that I have with his book. But just thought I would throw that out there. I do agree with you, though. I think that he should have spent more time talking about Tehran and the hostage crisis in Iran, just because that was such a significant moment in U.S. foreign policy in the Middle East and in the Arab-Israeli conflict, or the conflict in general that was going on in that region. And I personally believe that the hostage crisis and the U.S. government's response to that crisis was one of President Carter's failings. He really could have responded to that, in a more effective way. Another thing, when you mentioned that he really didn't talk about that event, I kind of got the sense when I was reading the chapters on Carter and on Reagan that Quandt agreed more with the way Carter handled foreign policy than the way Reagan. Just in his language and the way he seemed to really commend Carter for wanting to try to make Egypt and Israel come to a peace agreement. And I think that maybe that's why he kind of skipped over the Iranian hostage crisis. Those are just some of my observations. I also agree with you that had Carter been reelected, he may not have been as motivated to continue to aggressively pursue foreign policy in the Middle East, just because, as you mentioned, Camp David was his crowning moment. He achieved what he wanted to. He thought that the agreement between the Egyptians and the Israelis really signaled a move towards lasting peace. So I agree with you. I don't think that he would have necessarily been as motivated in his, if he had been elected for a second term. So those are just my thoughts on your presentation or on your discussion post. Again, I thought it was well done.